You see them everywhere, right? These digital health programs making some pretty big promises. Well, today, we're going to take a closer look at one of them, the Type 2 protocol. We're going to break down exactly what it claims to offer based on its own promotional materials, just to see what's really going on.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First up, we'll figure out what this thing even is. Then we'll dive into the big mystery, this post-meal secret they talk about. After that, we'll get into the good stuff, the benefits they promise, what it'll cost you, and we'll wrap up with a look at the fine print, that all-important disclaimer.
All right, let's start with the absolute basics. What exactly is the Type 2 protocol? Let's see what the people who made it have to say about their own product. Okay, so the first thing you've got to know is this isn't some pill you swallow or a supplement you mix into a drink. Nope, the source material makes it really clear that it's a digital guide, something you can get your hands on instantly, online. And the whole thing, the entire plan, is built around this one central idea, what they're calling the post-meal secret.
And this is a really key part of their marketing strategy. You can see how they're trying to draw a really clear line in the sand here. On one side, you've got their digital guide. You buy it once, it's all about learning something new. But on the other side, they're pointing to traditional supplements, framing them as something you have to keep buying over and over again. So, who is this for? Well, if you look at the marketing, a pretty specific picture starts to form. They're talking to busy folks, maybe over 40, who are thinking about their blood sugar and want a solution they can use right at home. And the hook they use to reel you in, it's a pretty bold claim, a promise that you'll see a difference in just 12 minutes. Okay, so how do they claim this whole thing actually works? This next part is really the engine of their entire system. Let's get into it. Right, so absolutely everything hinges on this so-called post-meal secret. I mean, their promotional stuff treats it like it's the key that unlocks the whole thing. So what on earth is it? What's interesting is how they describe it. They're very careful not to make it sound like some complicated diet plan or a super intense workout. Instead, they call it a simple hack, just a repeatable little action you do right after you eat. No fancy equipment, and it's not supposed to take up a bunch of your time. And here's where they put a number on it, a really specific number. According to the source material, if you use this secret after a meal, it can lower your glucose levels by 20 to 30%. And they claim this happens every single time. That's a huge promise. All right, so that's the how. That's the mechanism they're claiming. Now let's talk about the why. What are the actual benefits you're supposed to get if you follow this protocol? Well, the main benefit, the big one they lead with, is obviously supporting healthy blood sugar. But the marketing materials don't stop there. They suggest it can also lead to more steady, balanced energy throughout the day, help clear up that feeling of brain fog, and just generally improve your overall quality of life. And then there's this quote, which really shines a spotlight on another major selling point, the money angle. They are directly positioning this program as an affordable, one-time payment, and they're not shy about comparing it to what they call pricey, unproven supplements. Okay, let's get down to the brass tacks, the practical stuff. How much are we talking, and what kind of guarantee are you getting if you decide to buy in? So, according to the source material, the program is offered for a one-time price of $49.
And they really go out of their way to emphasize this point. This is not a subscription. You're not signing up for monthly fees. It's a single purchase, and that's it. And to give you some peace of mind, they offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. The source says you can basically try it for 2 full months, and if you're not happy, you can get a full refund.
And that brings us to our final, and you could argue our most critical section. This is the piece of the puzzle that really puts everything else we've talked about into perspective.
And here it is. This is the key. It's a direct quote from their own disclaimer, and it says the program is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. So, despite the product's name, despite all the marketing, this is a really, really important distinction to grasp. So, what's the big takeaway from all of this? At the end of the day, even the program's own materials tell you to talk to a healthcare professional. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? The information you find online, whether it's this program or anything else, should never, ever take the place of actual professional medical advice from your doctor.